Welcome to the Jolt Creativity pregame show. Jolt Creativity. Destroy the lie.
And welcome to Saturday Night Futsal here in the FCS, and it is playoff time. The second quarterfinal of this epic Saturday of futsal features number 3 ranked Detroit Imperial taking on the number 6 ranked Chicago House with a spot in the semifinals on the line. And we are here at the Schoolcraft College Fitness Center in Livonia, Michigan. It's Michigan versus Illinois, Detroit versus Chicago, Rock City versus Windy City, and it is a battle that everyone has been waiting for all week long here in the Futsal Champions Series. Welcome, everybody. I'm Chris Fernandez, and we are absolutely waiting for this scintillating match to start between these two storied franchises here in the FCS. The postseason has arrived with a narrative arc that feels more like a movie script than a standing sheet. The third-ranked Imperial entered tonight haunted by the ghost of what could have been. Just 68 seconds of total game time stood between them and a number 2 seed with a bye. The late-game collapses against Jinga and Shoreline forced them into this quarterfinal slot, and it's not going to be easy as they take on this Chicago House side that have a lot to prove and want to earn their first ever semifinal appearance. And as we get ready, we'll take a look at kind of where these teams were coming from out here. Chicago, after a disastrous 0-5 start to the campaign, their playoff hopes were effectively dead. However, a late season surge to 3-7 combined with the sudden misses of Midwest United has gifted the House a second life. Now with a clean slate and an absolutely nothing to lose energy of a team that technically shouldn't be here, Chicago looks to pull off the ultimate upset against a Detroit squad that beat them 8-6 back in January. And we'll go down to the coach interviews with Detroit Imperial and the Chicago House. Both coaches quite keen to prepare their teams this week with a few practices and making the necessary adjustments. And what we will do is first throw off down to the coach, down by courtside. Now, Coach, Detroit was seconds away from a top 2 seed and a bye. How has this team processed that? And what's the mentality walking into tonight's pivotal quarterfinal match?
Pretty rotating squad this year with new players. Can you hear me? All right. For us, it's been a very good year. You know, the downfalls last couple minutes were learning experiences for us. We have a new squad, a lot of new players. We integrated suspensions and illness and, Ramadan. We have a lot of Muslim players. So we've really been rotating everything and trying to integrate everyone and get everyone to the level. And, despite the results, we look at the performances as a whole. And some of those performances where we didn't get the result we wanted, we still played really well. So, I'm very confident in the group tonight.
Menya is arguably the best keeper in this league, but late-game defensive breakdowns have been the story against Jinga and Shoreline. What specifically has changed in preparation for tonight's match against Chicago?
I think more than anything, it's realization for us that this isn't just a pickup game like we're doing at at some of the trainings where we play against each other. This is a legit game against high competition, and every decision matters, right? Like I mentioned again, it's a very big learning curve for a lot of these guys, but we've had all season to fix it, and we've seen a lot of really, really good results over the season, and a lot of good results in training the last couple weeks. So I'm excited for the game. I'm really confident in our ability to reach this semifinal, and let's get playing. That's where I'm at.
Now, Chicago came back from an 0-5 start to the season to make this quarterfinal match. Now, not to say that you take them lightly, but does that kind of turnaround story actually concern you?
No, I mean, for us, it's a great story for them, and I'm happy they're here. And they have a really young squad, and you can see they're really putting things together as the season went on. But as you mentioned in the pregame, they are here because of some mishaps with other teams. But that doesn't mean anything, really. When it comes to a playoff game, it's one game at a time. Anything can go. So we're not underestimating our opponent. We played them once, we beat them once, but we know they're a team that's going to just continue to grow the longer they're in this league. So no one's taking them lightly. We're very prepared for this game and expecting a high-level game with a lot of intensity, a lot of action, and a lot of passion for victory and a result.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Pierce Brannigan, the head coach for Detroit Imperial. Best of luck for tonight, Coach. Can't wait for this epic quarterfinal clash. And we'll be right back just in a moment, and we will be joined by the Chicago House head coach, getting ready for tonight's quarterfinal, which is only moments away here on Saturday Night Futsal in the FCS.
We're NMDP, and we're out here saving lives, relentlessly seeking donors so patients can live their dreams. Like Mia's dream of finding a match and pressing play on life, Noah's dream of climbing the ladder, or Zoe's dream of a tiny house and a giant dog. Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people, and the donor we need could be you.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Going to the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people. And the donor we need could be you.
watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
And welcome to Detroit Rock City, Michigan. It is the second quarterfinal here on Saturday Night Futsal in the FCS. And what else could you possibly want? Michigan versus Illinois, Detroit versus Chicago, Rock City versus Windy City. It is Imperial taking on the house. And welcome back, everybody. I'm Chris Fernandez. And boy, oh boy, can we not wait for tonight's match between number 3 ranked Detroit Imperial and number 6 Chicago House. The gift of life, the story of the Chicago House this season. They were out, now they are in. Does the newfound money mentality allow Chicago to play a little bit looser and more dangerously than a Detroit team feeling the pressure of being the favorite and in front of a home crowd? And whereas Detroit gave up 5 goals in the final minutes of 2 critical matches, is there a mental hurdle that they have to clear tonight? With under a minute to go, can they last all 40 minutes? This will be the story tonight with a spot in the semifinal on the line. And the starting 5 for Detroit, no question about it, with the big man Peyton Trask and David DePolce. And SLA, a lot of suspensions during the regular season, but everyone healthy and ready to go tonight. And of course, arguably the top keeper in the league, Emerson Menya, in the net tonight. And Detroit, chock full of excellent players coming off the bench, including Lopez and Unzar. Make sure to keep your eyes out for them. And Chicago, tonight, no introduction needed for Hernandez. He's been the man carrying Chicago House into here, and he's going to be looking to team up with Marquin and Mayanza. And sitting at the back, but also an offensive threat, is the big man wearing number 17, Marquez. And tonight in goal, Escareño. He is a reliable goalkeeper with great point-blank shot-stopping ability. And you take a look at the reserves. You got the Cholinskis, Castillo, and Bavero. And make sure to also keep your eye on Kunduri, who always knows how to eat those minutes. Highly effective Chicago House side that can upset anybody here in the FCS, and they're going to need to do that tonight on this beautiful hardwood maple floor, the home of Detroit Imperial. And Imperial, you sure bet that they're going to need to rely off the exploits of Davide DePolce. Finished 5th in points in the league with 18. And DePolce, 10 goals on the season as the referee. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the one and only, the first American official to referee in a FIFA Futsal World Cup, Jason Kernack, giving the captains the instructions for tonight. And Jason is a man who does not take any nonsense. These teams know his quality. And this is going to be something really, really solid. The other quarterfinal going on right now at halftime. Lansing City up on Jinga 3-1. And again, the winners of tonight's quarterfinals going to the semifinal round, where Ole Futsal and Shoreline City, number 1 and number 2, respectively, await. And the countdown to the championship weekend here in the Futsal Champions Series takes place on March 28th over in Lansing City. That is the FCS Futures, the women's division, which has been absolutely epic this year, and of course, the men's division. And we are just moments away from kicking off this epic quarterfinal tilt between Detroit and Chicago. We take a look at Detroit getting ready. Number 10, Davide De Poce, the defender, with an absolute dynamite offensive prowess at his disposal. He is the heart and engine of this Imperial side. He's back in the starting 5, and his vision on the ball is going to dictate the tempo for Detroit. But again, make sure you take a look at Abdullah Saleh. The reliable ringer returns from suspension to provide much needed width and creative flair on the wing. And the goalkeeper will definitely see a lot of him tonight, Emerson Menya. Definitely a top contender for goalkeeper of the year. And a winner-go-home scenario, his ability to swing games with acrobatic stops is Detroit's greatest security detail. And the Chicago House ready, set to go. And keep your eye on number 8, Rafael Hernandez. When he is on, he is a top 3 talent in the league, make no mistake about it. And Chicago need him to replicate his national showcase form. And we are live. It is game time. As we take a look at Detroit Imperial in their traditional blue. The Chicago House in the white and black trim. See the high defensive pressure from Detroit early on. Breaking out of the zone. Chicago with the first strike of the game. Easily denied by the keeper. Chicago now with a corner. A little bit of a task, some good footwork, a low left-footed shot, not getting everything on that. And a quick counter from keeper to who else but De Poce. Looks like a ballet dancer with the ball at his feet. Last 3 games, Chicago are 1-2, finished the season with 3 wins and 7 losses. Got in to the 6th and final playoff spot, did the house. Oh, and a great move. Getting through a couple of Detroit players, but stifled by the third. team's desperate to get that opening goal. A nice left-footed attempt, just going off of the palm. We'll have another look. On the run. Shot by Kevin Rodriguez. Trying to sneak one past the goalkeeper was DePoche. And Detroit pressing again. Keeper forced to come out. And making a nice slide was Escareño. And Detroit in their last 3 are also 1 and 2. Clinching the 3rd spot. Could have been into the semifinals, but a little bit of a collapse in their last 2 games. Really forcing them into this position tonight as we see the trusted Emerson Menya distribute the ball. It's been solid goalkeeping for Detroit all year. Oh, beautiful pass in front. Just not able to connect was Detroit. Just about at the half-court spot, trying to find Rodriguez, who just couldn't bury it past the keeper. Still 0-0 as we start to approach 3 minutes into the opening half. Great run, an excellent slide by DePoche. Follow-up by Felipe Marroquin. Not able to get it. Keep your eye on number 99 tonight. Long-range effort. Hit off the volley, quickly countered now by Chicago. And a great stop by Emerson Menya to deny Chicago the opening goal. Forcing the turnover. Now looking to make some space of their own. As we see Abdullah SLA coming into the match wearing the number 6. Works oh so well with DePoche. Oh, and a 2v1, a clear chance. Oh my goodness, you would have put your mortgage on the line for him to finish that. And that's a second critical miss for Detroit. It was essentially a 2-on-0. And SLA with a clear-cut opportunity, wondering if the shot should have come in, but realistically it was a good pass, just lacking the finish. And a sigh of relief from the Chicago House faithful. Fourth shot off too tight of an angle. As we see Menya distribute the ball, the characteristic bleach blonde curls of Menya. Detroit coming off a 6-2 loss to Ole Futsal, who remain undefeated for the 2nd straight season in the FCS. They are the nut to crack, and no one has been able to do it yet. Chicago again on the wing. What a blister of a shot. Can't tell if that went off the face of Menya, but by the reaction of him lying down, he's going to take a second as the official comes in to check on him. I didn't think that shot from such a wide part of the pitch was going to have such velocity off that back foot, but my goodness, it ricocheted right off the face of Menya. Take a moment to compose himself with a drink of water. And as we take a look at Menya, leads the league with a .866 save percentage, and in futsal that is a very, very good number. And also leading the league in saves with 161. Not to mention his offensive prowess, 3 assists, also leading the league, is the young Emerson Menya. And without his exploits this season, Detroit may not have made the playoffs. Inbound, some great give and go. And it'll be a corner for DePoche and Imperial. And a little bit of a forearm shuffle as we see the first accumulated foul of the half go against Chicago, and it'll be Felipe Marroquin. Take a look at Chicago's last match, an 8-3 victory over Innovation City, giving them momentum to pop in 8 goals in the FCS is not easy. And that Innovation side were a very difficult team at the end of the season to go through. So Chicago coming in with some momentum as they now press deep into Detroit's zone. And they're forced to go down. DePoche fires the shot well over the crossbar, and Escareño will now be able to clear it from his area as we see the engine of Detroit, Davide DePoche. 18 points, 10 goals on the season, both in the top 10. Served a couple of suspensions. Definitely has a temper. Quite a few suspensions Detroit suffered this year, the most in the FCS. I'm wondering if that's going to play into the Chicago tactics. Ramon Hernandez, the head coach of Chicago, and a highly intelligent futsal mind. And a thunderous shot going off of the foot of DePoche. Chicago still retaining possession. Poche going in. Marroquin coming in to prevent Poche from getting a point-blank chance against Escareño. Detroit pressing deep, wide open. And not able to connect again. That's the third key missed opportunity in the goal area for Detroit. And you just wonder if those missed chances are going to come back to bite them. During the play, Detroit Imperial were charged with a rolling accumulative. So it's 1-1 in the foul count. And if you know your futsal, that's 5 fouls allowed per half per team, with each one resulting in a PK. Second half score sees Lansing City up 3-1 over Ginga. The winner of that match, of course, going on to the semifinals next weekend, with the championship on the weekend of Saturday, March 28th. We're just past the 7-minute mark here in the opening half. of prime-time Saturday night futsal in the Futsal Champions Series. Still 0-0 between Detroit and Chicago. Oh, a long-range effort! And finally, Detroit get the opening goal that they have been pressing so hard to get. And Depoche from deep in his own zone with an inbounds, able to connect. And it's Amin Unzar going to that far post and finishing. Beautiful stuff, Depoche getting it out. And the final pass over to Unzar. The tall winger striking first blood here in the quarterfinal. But instantly, Chicago with a 2v0, completely blown opportunity there. That was their best chance of the game so far. And you have to think in a 1-on-0 situation with the keeper, you gotta take it. Now Detroit pressing more, and another open net opportunity, and it's the second of the match. And Detroit Imperial, after missing a couple of critical opportunities, now up 2-0, courtesy of a goal by Abdullah Saleh. And both goals Detroit have exposed on that far post. Defensive lapses by the house see them crumbling so far. And they're going to really need to shore up that defense. As we see the Detroit bench calling for a foul to no avail. And in less than a minute, Detroit putting up a pair. Take a look at the average goals allowed per game. Detroit's allowed 4.2 in Chicago, a very high 8.5. Defensively, oh, that one sneaks in. It was headed for the far post, but it appeared to go off of the body of Escareño. And Depoche, with a sense of smell, finds that ball right in. Oh, and it sneaks through Escareño. And that is unfortunate for Chicago. That ball was headed right for the foot of Peyton Trask, who was sitting point blank on that post. And it is 3-0 Imperial, off to an emphatic start here in Livonia. Take a look at Rafael Hernandez. Can he do anything to bring his team back into this, down 3-0 early on? Obviously plenty of time left, but you don't want to be down 3-0 to the likes of Detroit. And just put it out of bounds. Great defensive play, called as a foul. And not liking that one bit is Moises Mayanza. A little bit of contact leg to leg. Yeah, The referee's got that one correct. Sometimes the plays are so fast in futsal. You just missed a little nuance. And Mayanza, he's an aggressive player, very explosive first step on the ball, but just not doing enough. You just see Detroiter hunting for that far post. They've exploited it 3 separate times. The third goal was going through, but it really fooled Escareño, who's going to be having nightmares about that if Chicago are to be eliminated tonight. And a big opportunity again, denied by Escareño. The rebound going off. And it will be another corner for Imperial. As we see Luke Faubert, the pivot. Will he be able to get in position unmarked, cause Emerson Menya fits? Remains to be seen. And a wide shot by Mayanza. Detroit now at center court with the inbounds. Just about over 9.5 minutes remaining. As referee Jason Kernack coming out with the yellow card. Didn't like what he saw or heard from Chicago. And they're going to need to temper right on down if they have ambitions of getting back into this. Detroit, when healthy and not facing suspensions, are one of the most unbeatable teams out there. As Chicago comes in and a point-blank stop by Emerson Menya denies Chicago their opening. What a huge save by Menya. There we see the youngest player in the FCS. That is Luke Faubert, number 14. The pivot. My goodness. Still in grade school with a baby face like that, but boy, does he play like a seasoned vet. An emerging young prospect for the U.S. national team. Eventually down the line is Faubert. There we see Emerson Menya, very vocal on what he wants to see. Talking to Abdullah Saleh, who is happy with the 3-goal lead, including a goal of his own. Scoring the second of the match. And we see now coming into the match for Detroit is goalkeeper Michael Forbes, who loves to attack. You see him in a little bit of that purple/violet color. As we see Chicago House head coach Ramon Hernandez. And Razor Ramon is going to have to be extra sharp to come up against Detroit as they're down 3-0 right now. DePoche just letting the ball run. So much space made available. Chicago just looking to retain their shape, not wanting to be fooled by DePoche. And that man, here's Brannigan, got to be happy with his team's start. Great defense, sees the counter and a shot by Kevin Rodriguez, forcing a double palm save by Escareño. And DePoche firing it directly on the keeper, hoping to catch him off guard as he did in the third goal. Slow to get up is Rodriguez. We all know when you fall on this court, there's no cushion. It's straight, old school, hardwood maple. You gotta be tough to play futsal. This is definitely not the ballet. Not rostered tonight is Vinny De Silva as we take a look at the Chicago House bench. The frustration quite evident, written on the faces of everyone there. And a beautiful pass cross court. Chicago with a chance. Oh, fooled Menya into going straight and almost getting that short side was Moises Mayanza. It was a great effort by the number 3. Mayanza doing everything he can to keep it in, and sliding out is Menya, who's returned in goal after Forbes came out to eat a couple of minutes. Oh, and 2 big defensive pokes by Chicago, preventing what could have been easily the 4th goal for Detroit. Escareño looking for his players to make space. Turnover. SLA having a solid match so far tonight defensively, and also getting on the score sheet. You see momentarily, and that will be a foul against Detroit. Is the 4th foul for Detroit. They're going to want to bring down that heat just a little. A solid left-footed effort handled by Escareño. It's the 8th corner of the match. Escareño, the young keeper, having a solid season for Chicago. Could certainly use some more defensive help, as he's been left exploited quite a few times tonight. A solid run down the wing. Referee coming quickly on the court. No foul called on the play. We have an out-of-town score. Lansing City up on Jinga 5-2. And the other quarterfinal match that's live right now. And Detroit right now, right here, 3-0 against Chicago. Time is a ticking for Jinga. Detroit stringing together a great sequence of passes. Not enough defensive pressure by Chicago, giving Detroit a lot of space. And you have to wonder if Ramon Hernandez is going to get his team to put a little bit more pressure. You can't give space to Detroit when you got the likes of Depoche, SLA, Trask, and Unzar attacking on you. Shot from near the left flank, not hitting the target. And the long-range throw not hitting his intended winger. And Chicago, with less than 5 minutes remaining in the half, will take over. A goal by Chicago would go a long way. Solid run. Can Chicago capitalize? 100% foul, and you know that's a card coming. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the 5th foul. As we see Felipe Marquin, who was waiting wide right, not able to get the space to make the pass. Weak-footed attempt by Hernandez on that one. That'll probably be a rolling accumulative as Detroit go forward. No call by the official. Seemed to be a little handsy. Chicago now with a 2v1. Not opting to make the pass. And absolutely furious as Marroquin felt he's been open for the last 2 opportunities. Chicago with a 3rd now. Great shot, stopped by Menya. The league leader in save percentage and in saves is Menya. And a clean sheet so far as we take Marroquin. You gotta love that. My block, my hood, my city. The mantra of Chicago House. They love to represent. In the corner now for Chicago. Clear-cut chance on Menya, but it's going to take a lot better than that. You can get all the point-blank shots you want from that distance, and Menya is up to the task all the time. You're really going to have to figure out how to get the ball to the far post and force Menya to be out of position. But to do that, they're going to need to penetrate this defense. Solid attempt as we see the frustration of Rafa Hernandez. As a timeout now being called by Imperial. Each team allowed 1 timeout per half, each lasting 1 minute. Less than 4 minutes remaining in the half. Pierce Brannigan's gonna let his boys know how happy he is so far with this start. And while he's doing that, we gotta take a look at a great friend of futsal in the United States. That's Ally Marketing, the official partner of the Futsal Champions Series. For every business element you need in marketing, there's only one friend you gotta rely on, and that is Ally Marketing. Ally Marketing, let's be friends. As we take a look at the Chicago bench, what was Ramon Hernandez telling his team to do? He's very cool and calm in explaining what exactly he wants from his boys. We noticed a couple of things. They've lacked the finish up front, but defensively, they have really, for the most part, left Escareño to dry. Any foul now Detroit has will result in an unopposed 10-meter PK. They call it a free kick, but it's a PK when it's just shooter versus keeper. So Detroit got to be very wary of fouling once more. Chicago with 4 fouls of their own. Still 1 left to give before fouling out. Take a look at Luigi Marquez, a solid defender. Chicago pressing a good run, trying to bring the ball into the goal area, but no one there to tap it. Referee indicating Chicago with the inbounds in Detroit territory. Another corner for Chicago. As we take a look at number 5, Peyton Trask. 3 goals, 8 assists on the season. One of the most reliable wingers in all of the FCS is Trask. And already with 2 assists tonight. Trask up to the task thus far. All pun intended. Big booming shot going off the shin of the defender. Matakin opting to go back to Escareño. Oh, and a beautiful move to get through his man. And Chicago with a chance. And the shot hitting the side of the mesh. And quickly countered by Mena. A signature of his. He's not just a great shot stopper, but he has an absolute flair offensively. Leads the league with 3 assists of all goalkeepers. We see a 3v2 here. Oh, and the foul unnecessary by Chicago. And that is the 5th foul of the half for Chicago. Both teams now fouling out. Any foul here on in results in a 10-meter PK. Chicago pressing, a solid move, and just trickling wide left, and the frustration continues for Matakin. DePoche trying to sell the foul to no avail. 23-16 is the shot count. But the most important stat is the ones that go in Detroit with that advantage, 3-0. Oh, and the 4th, DePoche putting it in. A valiant effort by Detroit, and that is a dagger in the hearts of the Chicago Health faithful. And Detroit on a mission, scoring their 4th goal. No smiles, it's all business for Imperial. And a solid effort to get out there and put it on the foot of DePoche, who makes no mistake with his left. Less than a minute remaining in the half. Detroit in the driver's seat and on top gear. Chicago gets the shot. It beats Mena, but able to recover just in time. That would have breathed some life back into the lungs for Chicago had they been able to bury that. The shot going off of the foot of Ricardo Lopez. Lopez getting some minutes now is the number 4. Shot by Marquez, not able to go on target as we take another look at Ricardo Lopez. Trying a little Ricardinho action over there in the corner was the Poche. We've seen some crazy goals in our time here in the FCS, and that certainly would have been something. Oh, but that giveaway, no foul called. And really, Rafa Hernandez not having a good half whatsoever. And Chicago on the press. That looked like a handball, and that definitely is, as Lopez got a hand on it, and it's a yellow card against Ricardo Lopez. But more importantly, Chicago, with just seconds remaining here in the first half, will have an absolutely vital lifeline toss to them, as Chicago now with a 10-meter PK. And that's the story of Detroit. 16 yellows, 2 reds on the season. They lead the FCS in cards by a country mile. And this is absolutely pivotal for the mentality of the Chicago House. But they're going to be facing Emerson Menya. Oh, and just hitting the bar and not able to capitalize was Rafa Hernandez. Can Chicago get one last shot on target? Oh, they cannot. They had that chance. A couple seconds left on the clock. They might have been able to do something with it. As we take another look at going off the post, Rafa Hernandez, a great season for Chicago, but just not able to get the wheels turning tonight. And that is halftime. Detroit with an emphatic 4-0 lead over the Chicago House. In the final quarterfinal match here on Saturday Night Futsal in the FCS. Yes, sir. We'll be back shortly for the second half of this quarterfinal tilt between Detroit and Chicago. Grab yourself a cold one, a hot plate of snacks, and we'll see you in a moment.
We're NMDP, and we're out here saving lives. Relentlessly seeking donors so patients can live their dreams. Like Mia's dream of finding a match and pressing play on life. Noah's dream of climbing the ladder. Or Zoe's dream of a tiny house and a giant dog. Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people, and the donor we need could be you.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Going to the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people. And the donor we need could be you.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
Welcome to the Ally Marketing Halftime Show. Ally Marketing, let's be friends.
And we are back for the final half. Detroit versus Chicago. Welcome back, everybody, to Saturday Night Futsal. Chris Fernandez here. And boy, you could cut the tension with a knife. Detroit dominant in that first half, capitalizing. 4 goals, 2 of which scored by Davide Dapoce. A pair supported by Unzar's opener. And SLA got the second. And Chicago are going to need to throw the entire house to get back into this. I'm wondering what defensive adjustment Chicago are going to need to make, and they are especially going to need to throw every offensive element they can possibly get. As the clean sheet by Menya and Forbes on full display, as we see Piers Brannigan, the head coach for Detroit Imperial. You can just see how light they are with smiles on their faces, but they know the game's not won yet. Every time they scored a goal, it wasn't smiles. It was just straight up business. Get back to their positions and do it again and again and again. As we take a look at Chicago head coach Razor Ramon Hernandez, chewing that gum at an extra speed. Couldn't have been happy with that first half. Oh, to be a fly on the wall of the house dressing room. And they're going to need to heavily rely off better performances from Rafael Hernandez if they're to get back into this. And that man, number 99, Felipe Marroquin, so badly wanting to score, slapping the court with his hand with every miss. Chicago now with possession into Detroit territory, getting a shot as Forbes coming into the match. Forced to go down to make the save. The long-range effort. Oh, and just missing wide left was Abdullah Saleh, who was looking for his second of the match. Saleh, the rugged defender, involved quite heavily tonight, eating most of those minutes in the first half. Brannigan trusts him intently. Boche calmly navigating away from danger. Marroquin SLA battle. The back-footed roll gets to Marroquin. And the battle won as Dapoce on the break, finding his man. Oh, a critical stop by Escareño. As we see Dapoce saw Peyton Trask on the far side unmarked, and Escareño coming up big to prevent the fifth. Last meeting between these teams saw Detroit win by 4, 8-4 to be exact. And they're up by 4 tonight. So far, so good for Imperial. And the big scoop, finding his man, not able to get it on the first touch. It's Matakin trying to battle through. Great defensive work by Detroit to neutralize it. Is Trask going in with the left-footed shot. It's a valiant effort, but not hitting the target. Escudero coming out to cover down that angle. Pressing, but countered quickly, and a key opportunity for Chicago, and they get the first of the game for the house. And that is exactly what the doctor ordered. The big right-footed shot into the top left corner, courtesy of Felipe Matakin, wearing the number 99. And showing excellent finish like a special 99, Gretzky. Not a futsal guy, but one of the greatest finishers in all of pro sport. And Chicago pressing again. Oh, and they get the second. In under 10 seconds, Chicago have cut the lead down from 4-0 to 4-2. Huge stuff by the house. An unbelievable turn of events in just mere seconds, and that's the brilliance of futsal. As we saw the shirt tug, and that's going to be a rolling accumulative foul against Detroit as well. And just like that, we have a game. Matakin with some space. Chicago catching Detroit off. Oh, a defensive lapse again by Chicago, almost costing them some of that momentum. Matakin palmed out by Forbes to force the corner. And the brilliance of futsal. If you blink, you miss things. A big lead does not necessarily mean it's the end of the game. And Chicago are proving that right now with another opportunity, a 3v1. Oh, and my goodness, Matakin had a man on the far post waiting for that pass, but he was not able to retain possession and make it. Forbes now coming out of his goal. Risky business for Detroit. Goalkeeper now taking an effort that was wide of the goal, and Forbes will get back into his goal. Oh, and a great turn by Matakin. Can he get the shot off? He can. It appeared to take a deflection or not. Referee opting to say the shot was just wide. And Detroit on their heels in the last 2.5 minutes. Chicago coming in into Poche. Puts it down forward, but the Chicago defender, Luigi Marquez, there to save the day. Boys, this second half really lived up to it, and it hasn't even been 5 minutes in. Chicago looking for a third unanswered goal with a shot. Ooh! Beating Forbes, but going over the bar. Oh, and Matakin The number 99. Take another look at the pivot, Felipe Marroquin. Detroit pressing the left-footed shot, forcing a stop by Escareño. Shot going off of the back of the leg of the Detroit defender. It'll be another corner. Oh, and they get the fifth. A beautiful corner delivered to Davide Dapoche, and that is the hat trick for the Detroit number 10. As we take another look, Dapoche, left open, just goes right in the center of all four Chicago outcourt players. Brutal marking, again costing Chicago. Marroquin coming in, wait! Oh, and that would have been unbelievable if he had just re-answered there. Marroquin going in, forcing Forbes to go down. He has 6 goals on the season. 8 points in total, a goal tonight. And that was a critical opportunity missed. See Jaden Mirza now coming into the match wearing number 3 for White. Or sorry, Mayanza. There's Dapoche. Oh, calmly dancing like he's in the ballet. But that cough up now seeing Chicago on the 3v2. Oh, looking for his man on the far post, but not able to hit him. Detroit will now get the inbounds. Oh, beautiful opportunity as we saw the pass by Ricardo Lopez. Seeing Dapoche try a little of that trickery. And the Imperial now with a corner. Just past the 6-minute mark of the second half. Oh! And again off the corner, Detroit scored. It's the 6th goal of the match. And the frustration of Chicago continues. Off dead ball scenarios, Dapoche and Davide puts it in, and it appeared to go off of the foot of Rafa Hernandez. And Detroit now regaining that 4-goal lead that they had at the end of the first half. Chicago looked on the verge of getting back into this with a pair. But that has taken some of the wind out of their sails, to say the least. That ball not getting to his intended pivot. That prior goal credited to Dapoche. That's his 4th of the night. Dapoche again. Oh, a beautiful pass. A crispy effort. Finished on the far post. Dapoche is absolutely scintillating tonight. Another assist for the Detroit number 10. Let's take another look. Right-footed pass, absolutely on the money. You figure The finish, well done by Ricardo Lopez, but my goodness, that pass was so good, you figure a fire hydrant could score. Detroit in command with a 7-2 lead, and they want more as Lopez comes up. And what can Chicago do to chop down this massive 5-goal lead? They were within 2. A shot going over the bar once again. Chicago have to take bigger risks. And here's a key chance. Going through. Oh, why did he pass? Had a point-blank shot. Maybe 5 meters out. The Poche, 5 points tonight, including 4 goals. And that follows his 10 goals in the regular season from 8 matches, 18 points. He's in the top 5 of the total points this season. And tonight, no matter what happens in this game, the Poche will leave as the league's leading playoff scorer. Chicago with a negative 30 goal difference during the season, but a +2 in the last 5 games. They improved steadily towards their playoff run. But tonight it has just not gone their way. They had a great 2 to 3 minute stretch earlier in the second half. A couple of great goals. Saw the momentum swinging, but that 5th goal from Detroit really just took a lot out of them. The Poche forced out by Hernandez. Forbes with a rocket of a shot. And missing the net. Running back to his own is the Detroit number 12. Past the halfway point here in the second half. You see Rafa Hernandez scored 8 goals during the season for Chicago, finishing with 14 points. But tonight was definitely the roughest game of his 2026 campaign. But Chicago nailing their 3rd, and there is some life still left in the house. And that was something else. We talked about him having a rough night, but Hernandez lining up off that free kick, getting a deflection, and going in, and it's a 7-3 game. Chicago pressing again. Oh, a point-blank stop by Forbes. That could have easily have been the 4th. Cut this deficit down to 3, more importantly for the house. As we see Rodriguez now coming, trying to slow the pace down with the Poche. There's no one who loves to slow it down more than him. Double teamed is Rodriguez. Oh, and a great effort. Oh, that's definitely going to be a card on top of the accumulative. And the yellow going against Detroit. Good fouls and bad fouls to take. In that circumstance, would have prevented a breakaway. You have to say it was a good one to take. He's just going to need to be cognizant not to get a second yellow and face a suspension in the semifinal. And if Detroit are able to hold on for the victory tonight, they will travel to play Shoreline City next week in the semifinals. And that's because earlier tonight, Lansing City defeated Jinga. And Lansing will now travel to Grand Rapids as they take on the undefeated Olay. And the referee's calling a foul against Chicago. It's an interesting call by the official, as it appeared here we go. It was a little bit of a hand call. There's a double-footed step and a push-off then by Mayanza. Detroit with the free kick. Initial block to Poche with the rebound. It's like the ball is a magnet at his feet. He's so great, so precise in his passing. Forbes anticipating that long-range effort. Now looking to get in the attack. Oh, it was a wide open net for Detroit. That was absolutely point blank. Can't believe he missed it. His hands on his cheeks. Abdullah Saleh scored the second of the match earlier for Detroit, but not able to get the 8th. And that would have certainly put Chicago's season on ice. Mayanza was looking for a man to make the cut up left, but misread. Player now down for Detroit. Oh, and they are definitely calling the accumulated foul. And the referee will signal for the medical team as we have another look. Brannigan will come out to check out on his player. Forbes having a chat with the referee, letting him know he thinks it was a foul. Brannigan having a discussion now with the officials. All three referees having a chat through the headset. And we are going to video-assisted replay, as they're going to assess if this was indeed a card. So the video support in the FCS, each team receives 1 unsuccessful challenge per half. Video evidence must be clear and conclusive to overturn a call. And the VSO, the video support official, can initiate video support at their discretion during the final 2 minutes of each half. And the VSO can also stop and fix objective administrative errors at any time, such as a foul count or a clock malfunction. We got the great talent on the court, a phenomenal production team at the FCS, but also some of the most technically sound referees in all of the CONCACAF area with the best technology out there. And that's what the FCS is all about. That's why everybody wants to get in on the league. It has grown tremendously since its inaugural year. And it all culminates on March 28th in Lansing City with the men's championship, the women's championship, and the FCS Futures, the youth divisions. As the referees looking at the video screen. Wondering exactly what they're looking for here. And both teams with 3 goals in the second half. Detroit came in 4-0. Chicago cut that deficit down in half. But then Detroit with 3 straight goals before Chicago got their third. And they're going to need 4 more just to tie it up. Game back underway as Escareño making the save. We'll have hopefully a report from our courtside reporter on what transpired with the referees on an explanation. Now coming out as the 5th attacker is Escareño. Put a little bit of pressure, and here it is. Ooh, a deflection from the pass off Marroquin, not going the way. Luckily in time was Hernandez to prevent the breakaway. And you have to wonder, as we take a look at Escareño, what weight is missed from both the Chilinsky brothers, Jacob and Matt. Both unavailable for tonight's match, pivotal players for Chicago. And that lack of depth has hurt them, the 2 big pivots. Detroit pressing, and another chance. And there it is. The Magic 8 as Davide Dapoce continues his relentless run tonight in the quarterfinals. He has been a man on a mission. As we take another look, the pass back to Dapoce. Tick, tack, and toe. And that's his 5th goal of the game, Dapoce. The most goals he has scored in one match. And what a time to do it during the FCS quarterfinals. Chicago need a miracle to get back into this. Plenty of time left on the clock. It is futsal. We know that goals can happen in seconds. Chicago launched 2 of their own within 10 seconds of each other early in the second half. And they're going to need some more magic to beat that man, Michael Forbes. easily come out and redistribute that ball as Depoche goes again. And he's stifled. Not too many times they've been able to stop him tonight. 5 goals and an assist for Detroit's number 10, Davide Depoche. It'll be a corner as we take a look at Depoche. 5 of the 8 goals scored by that man. And he always wants more. And a couple of suspensions earlier this season. He's a focused man. And if this result holds up, it'll be Shoreline. Detroit 4 cautions tonight. Depoche getting one of the Munzar, Mutadi, and Lopez, all cautioned by the officials. And a key free kick chance now for Imperial. Depoche with the shot blocked by the defense. And the follow-up effort by Lopez. Not able to get it. Angel Kaduri in goal for Chicago. As we take a look at Kaduri getting some minutes now. Not a lot of help from the defense tonight. Both him and Escareno. Plenty of 2v1s. Always on that far left post. Detroit must have seen something in the game footage analysis to see these spots being open because they've exploited them tremendously. Detroit having a sliding Kaduri deny them of their 9th. They get a shot off here. They can, denied by Forbes. Depoche working with Lopez. He's looking again for that far left post, but Kaduri. Chicago putting it in front, intended for Marakin. Chicago desperately pressing. And a giveaway is a 2v0. The shot not going on target, had Depoche with him. It would have been absolutely ridiculous had Depoche scored the 6th of the match. Would have scored 2/3 of the total goals. If he was able to hit that. He's more concerned about the win. He wants to get to the semifinals next week versus Shoreline. And again, with Lansing's win earlier tonight over Zinga, Lansing City in a Michigan Derby will take on Ole Futsal Club in Grand Rapids next week. Forbes going in, wanting to get on the score sheet, not hitting it. And I'm just getting word from the FCS head office that the game between Ole and Lansing will be played in Lansing next week. There was an overlap in schedule at the facility in Grand Rapids. And a nice touch. Not able to get the follow-up to score the 9th for Detroit. We don't think Ole Futsal will have any troubles playing at Lansing. Undefeated in 2 seasons. Are the big Bulls out of Grand Rapids. Detroit not just content to nick the seconds off of the clock, but they want to score more and give a statement of intent to Shoreline that they mean business next week. Detroit pressing again. Chicago just looked like a team deflated now. They had such promise at the beginning of the half when they scored those 2 goals in 10 seconds. Played with a lot more speed in their step. A foul called against Forbes, who also gets a yellow. And it'll be a free kick opportunity for Chicago. And we'll see another look again as Rafa Hernandez gets the pass off, and Forbes sliding out of his crease to bring down Hernandez. The referee instructing the Detroit defenders to give the required 5 meters of space in this dead ball scenario. What trickery does Ramon Hernandez have in these free kicks? Ooh, and another video support challenge coming up. Where else are you finding the luxury of video support anywhere else in the United States or in Canada? And we got it here in the Futsal Champions Series. The FCS making sure that we're trying to follow all of the FIFA and UEFA methods of showcasing futsal at the highest level. And if you're watching the game and you're part of a big futsal club and you're interested in being a part of the FCS, you just go to the website and you go make sure to get on that contact page. We'll have another look at this foul, the slide. Hernandez got the pass off, didn't get to anybody. Forbes is out of his goal. And as we await the video assessment from the officials, again, the last time that these teams met, it was Detroit coming up victorious in an 8-4 victory. And tonight, doing just slightly better, holding on to an 8-3 lead with just about 4 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in the half. Chicago will have to dig down deeper than they've ever dug before and climb this absolutely Mount Everest of a task to get back in this and perhaps maybe force extra time. Free kick from Chicago. And they get one back. It's not over yet. Marakin. Doble nueve. Beautiful left-footed shot into the lower corner, beating Forbes. Maybe perhaps didn't see all of it. And Chicago now down only by 4. This scoreline reflects exactly what we were just talking about in their previous meeting. A timeout being called, and with that being said, you got to check out the best show in American futsal today. It is the third half the official FCS show. Last week's show was phenomenal. This Thursday, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, watch the third half free on the FCS official YouTube channel. Don't miss it. It is a great discussion, interactive. You can't just watch, you can also be involved. You have thoughts on who the best players are, who the best goalkeepers are, who's going to win the championship, who's going to win the semis next week. You got to check it out, get involved. The third half, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, that's 7 Central Time. And the Detroit bench looking calm. You never really see Pierce Brannigan freaking out, even if his team was losing. He's a calm, meticulous coach. Loves to build the planning, obviously, during the practices, and lets his boys do the talking during the actual games. He's got to be pleased with the performance of his lads tonight. Currently up 8-4. But plenty of time remaining. As Emerson Menya coming back into the game. And that's not good news for Chicago. It's the early consensus favorite for goalkeeper of the year in the FCS. And now we're seeing the 5v4 attack. Oh, great little effort to get the ball towards the pivot. Wasn't able to bury it home. That was intended for Gianni Vivero. Vivero again getting possession. Off to his teammate. Can they do it? They do! And that's the 5th for Chicago. Down 8-3, cutting the deficit down now to 8-5. With just about 3:40 left on the clock. And there is hope for Chicago. A beautiful finish. Rolls the ball over, top left corner. Excellent stuff by Moises Mayanza. Can Chicago get another quick one? You have to think they're going to use the 5th attacker, and they certainly are. Hernandez bringing it to the keeper. Hernandez again. Oh, great shot. Forcing a great save by Menya. Detroit going in. A solid challenge by Marakin. Detroit looking for just one more. Oh, wide open, and they slot it in. And that is fine number 9 for Detroit Imperial. And that will shatter the souls of the Chicago House faithful. Sitting wide open, completely unmarked, is Peyton Trask. And it's his first of the night. Chicago doing what they can. Try and get back into this, but time is ticking. 2.5 remaining in the match as Menya goes for the long-range throw. He absolutely loves to play NFL quarterback. 3 assists on the campaign. Leads all goalkeepers in the FCS. Kanduri coming in as the extra attacker. Had it been 8-5, it could have been. But 9-5 just seems so out of reach. Again, anything is possible in futsal, especially here in the FCS. Ooh, and Dapoche with the foul. That was a foolish foul because if he got that yellow, that would have been his second yellow of the match, and he would have missed the semifinals next week, and that would have been a massive blow to Detroit's hopes. And Detroit is fouled out. It's a possible lifeline. Attacking with the extra goalkeeper. Oh, and hitting the post. The rebound. Off of the back of Detroit's defender. Detroit gonna wanna really settle down and not foul. Oh, an excellent move, finding a pass lane open, but quickly shut down by the defenders from Chicago. Desperate times, desperate measures for the house as Kunduri comes out as the extra attacker. Chicago off the corner, seeing what they can do. Risky business, and no foul called there. And finally, the referee making the call. It'll be a 10-meter PK for Chicago. With about 1:18 left on the clock. A little bit of a late whistle, but nevertheless the right one to make. As Kevin Rodriguez concedes the 6th foul for Detroit of the half. And we know what that means. And Chicago absolutely need this. Rafa Hernandez, Emerson Menya. Big goal by Hernandez. It might be a too little too late, but the deficit has been cut down to 3. Detroit lead 9-6. It's a great finish. Picturesque penalty taken by Rafa Hernandez. He had a rocky first half, has stepped it up here in the second. Chicago have outscored Detroit in this half, 6-5. As we take a look at the shot count, 52 shots by Chicago versus Detroit's 40. But Detroit pretty much almost scoring 25% of their shots. An absolutely ridiculous conversion rate for Imperial. Chicago again trying to get the pass through the goal area, but Menya getting a touch on it. Chicago finding some success with this 5th attacker. It's Kunduri taking the shot. Stopped by Menya. And the long-range effort, trying to find the empty net. When you bring out the extra attacker, that's the risk portion. Chicago, can they get another shot? Ooh, and there is the 10th. Detroit hitting double digits, and that will be the final nail in the coffin for the Chicago House 2026 campaign. With less than 30 seconds left in the match, Chicago will have a corner. Anything they score here will be more or less consolation. As Menya makes the save, and he goes for the empty net goal as well. It goes over the crossbar. Menya again sensing that far post being open, cuts it out. Matakin gets it over. Menya with one last shot. And the long-range effort. Ooh, almost gets it in, but misses it. And the ball in play. Oh, he did put it in. It was unbelievable. He looked like he went wide left. the Detroit fans here in Livonia absolutely loving it as Imperial, with a final bit of cherry on the cake, take the final spot into the semis courtesy of an 11-6 victory over the Chicago House. And a great performance tonight by Detroit, led by that goalkeeper, Emerson Menya. And that man, number 10 in blue, Davide DePoce, 5 goals, 1 assist. Great work tonight by Pierce Brannigan and the Detroit Imperial in front of their capacity home crowd. And they'll move on to the semifinals next weekend, as the Academy kids come out to the fist bumps. And we'll take a look at some of the numbers of the match tonight. Final score was actually 11-6. And the shot, Chicago had their opportunities, 54 shots versus Detroit's 40. And 28 of those hitting the target. But big saves by both Emerson Menya and Michael Forbes. 22 saves combined between the dynamic duo in the pipes tonight for Detroit. 15-10 in corners going the way of Chicago. It was a testy affair, with 6 cards on the evening, 5 of which goes against Detroit. And if you've watched Detroit over the last season, you know that they're a tough team offensively. They've got great goalkeeping, but sometimes they just lose their cool. And luckily for them, they didn't get that second yellow for DePoce. That would have been absolutely disastrous. 12 fouls versus 7 going for Detroit, but the real stat of the night, 11-6. The victory for Detroit Imperial. Will be momentarily joined by the head coach of Detroit Imperial, Pierce Brannigan, who's got to be absolutely chuffed tonight after leading his team to an 11-6 victory over Chicago. Take a look at Brannigan's regular season record. 10 wins, 9 losses, and 1 draw. And he's now 1-1 in the playoffs. A big victory tonight for the Imperial manager. And they'll be in that semifinal next weekend. As we get ready for our chat with Pierce Brannigan, the first semifinal saw Lansing defeat Jinga earlier tonight to punch their ticket into the semis. And of course, Detroit with an emphatic 8-11-6 victory tonight over the Chicago House. And as we take a look at that graphic, it is Ole Futsal Club facing Lansing City in Lansing. And that's next weekend in the second semifinal. Shoreline City, the number 2 ranked team, going on to face the winners of the match you just watched tonight, Detroit Imperial. Both absolutely tantalizing meals on the menu for next week here in the FCS. And of course, all roads lead to Lansing City Arena on Saturday, March the 28th, the championship of the FCS, the men's division, the women's division, and of course, the FCS Futures. All the top youth players coming to compete for that coveted prize. And of course, all matches will be broadcast here live on the FCS YouTube channel. And if you want to go back and watch any matches, you know you got to go check it out. We'll be joined shortly by Pierce Brannigan.
I'm ready.
And there we go. All right, congratulations, Coach. An emphatic 11-6 victory. Brilliantly composed. No fear. No nothing on the bench. Everybody seemed like they were well prepared coming in. Tell us about the preparations coming into tonight and just how well was it executed on the court in the match.
That's a funny question. I went to training once this week. My wife gave birth on Thursday. We were prepping for everything, so I wasn't even at training. But you know, when we've set up a system, when I'm not there, you know, we have Davide, we have Rika, who's very experienced, to kind of work over the game plan, touch on certain things, and it worked. It worked in our favor. So I'm glad we got the victory. When I get home to my baby, I've been on 3 hours of sleep. I got out of the hospital at 3, so it's been a long day, but good result at the end. It makes it all worth it.
And now, talking about the performance tonight of Depoche, 5 goals. The man is known as a little bit of a hot pepper. He could get into foul trouble out there. We saw that he almost got that second yellow, and we know that you yanked him immediately after that. But tell us about the composed performance, not just offensively, but defensively, of Depoche tonight.
Yeah, you know, he's obviously the focal point of the team, and he was on cruise control. He's in very good spirits, ready to play after sitting the last game. Having Abdul back is a really good spirit lift for him because they've played together almost 10 years now. But, you know, the yellow card, I didn't hear what was said. You know, Davide, we got to find a balance between him as the captain being allowed to speak to the referees and then learning when to tone it back and whatnot. But it is what it is. You know, I think we had 4 yellow cards today. At the end of the game there, just pull everyone off. Let's preserve everyone for the semifinal against Shoreline. You know, we're going to need everyone. So that was the thinking behind that. But very composed. Very proud of him and the rest of the team.
And now looking forward to the semifinals. Detroit Imperial versus Shoreline City. That is a beautiful tilt. Tell us, what does Imperial need to do to kind of clean up maybe some of the mistakes while also keeping the momentum from some of the great things you guys did tonight? And what do you expect from Shoreline in the big epic semifinal next weekend?
Yeah, you know, I expect a very high energy, high intensity game, just like they had here when they came and visited us. You know, that Shoreline game, I thought we played pretty well, and that was one of the games we collapsed in the last seconds. And you know, to put into perspective, you know, we were missing Davide, we were missing Abdul. I believe that we had a couple other guys sick or like out of the country, really. So, you know, we've just been rebuilding mid-season in a sense. This was a good game for us to warm up. I really think for us is working on like not switching off. We get in the lead and maybe we get too comfortable, and sometimes that goal is a needed reminder, and goals happen. I've only seen 2 futsal games a clean sheet. One of them was against Olay when they clean sheeted us. So just a little more composure. We're working on it, but we saw a very good professional performance today. No collapse there at the end, and everyone did their role, and I'm happy with that. So lots to build on going forward for next weekend.
All right, perfect, Coach. Well, we'll let you get back to the dressing room out there and celebrate with the rest of the team. Congratulations on such a great victory tonight, and best of luck next weekend against Shoreline City in the semis.
Yeah, thank you guys.
That's perfect. As we're taking a look at that bracket, we will go to a quick break, and joining us will be the man of the hour, 5 goals in the match, Davide Depoce. We'll be back to talk with him and talk about his scintillating performance and Detroit's victory. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
We're NMDP, and we're out here saving lives, relentlessly seeking donors so patients can live their dreams. Like Mia's dream of finding a match and pressing play on life, Noah's dream of climbing the ladder, or Zoe's dream of a tiny house and a giant dog. Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people, and the donor we need could be you.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Going to the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people. And the donor we need could be you.
Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
Welcome to the Pod Escape Room post-game show. The Pod Escape Room, entertainment that's good for you.
And joining us now is none other than the Pod Escape Room player of the match. And the man just led his team to an 11-6 victory and still has no smile. The man's an absolute warrior. Welcome to the post-game show. Davide De Poce, 5 goals, 1 assist. Tell me, my guy, that was a performance of a lifetime. What were you feeling like coming in tonight's game to perform like that?
I was feeling caffeinated because I had to coach an FCS game at 5 p.m. And from there, I had to rush to the court, got to the court at 7:40. Drank water, drank black coffee, and I was already pretty agitated, so that helped fuel my game today.
And so now we see, at the end of the first half, up 4-0, it was a completely dominant performance. Chicago coming in with a pair of goals in 10 seconds. What were you guys able to do and make the adjustments necessary to regain that lead and put in several unanswered goals and really finish them off?
Well, I think their goals, they came off of just fundamental error. So for me, the goals that they scored, it wasn't it was a mistake from not using the bottom of our foot, and they transition and they score. So for me, the energy of the game didn't shift, even though they did score 2 unanswered goals. We felt in control from the very beginning, and just not getting emotionally rattled from the goals.
And tell us, be honest, how nervous were you about possibly getting that second yellow in the last 2 minutes of the game?
I don't get nervous. My only issue is I want a yellow card for something worthy and a red card for something worthy. As a captain, speaking to a referee, man to man, let's just talk it out and we should be good. But I look forward to the day I get a proper yellow card or a proper red card, and I'll take pride in that. So not nervous at all. I'm always in control, even though some people as a spectator might not think I'm in control. But I'm chilling, always.
And finally, looking to next weekend, Detroit Imperial versus Shoreline City. That sounds like a tilt for the ages. What are you expecting from Shoreline, and what are you guys going to bring to the table next week in that pivotal semifinal match on the road to the championship?
What we bring to the table, I can't tell you our menu. So that's something that we're going to keep and shock everybody. So you can expect that we're cooking up something in our soup, and when we serve it to everybody, everybody's going to see that we're going to come out victorious. And I'm not, this time against Shoreline, everyone's going to be there. They're going to be there. We're going to be there, and we're going to duke it out. Best team wins, and like I said, I'm not going to give up any of our secret ingredients. Just know that we have some tricks up our sleeve.
Well, it was an excellent performance tonight. Again, 5 goals, 1 assist. Might be your best performance. Might even be one of the best FCS performances of all time. Congratulations on such a great game tonight, but also, more importantly, for the emphatic 11-6 victory that sets up the big semifinal next week. Congratulations to the Pod Escape Room player of the game, Davide De Poce. It's going to be on highlight reels
Thank you.
on the third half show this Thursday. I can absolutely tell already.
Thank you.
Congratulations, my friend. Go have a great time out there.
You know, I would like to add something real quick. I just want to say, thank you to all of our fans that came out, and thank you to everybody, our camera crew who does a great job every game. Thank you to my teammates who come with me to training Monday through Thursday at 9:30 p.m. till midnight. You know, greatness is a group effort, not an individual effort, and I think nobody can take something away from Imperial, and that's our brotherhood, and we're in it till the end as a group, and just thank you everybody for supporting us and watching our game.
Thanks again, champ. Congratulations. And there we go is the Pod Escape Room player of the match, Davide DePoce, 5 goals, 1 assist, en route to leading Detroit Imperial to an 11-6 victory here in the final quarterfinals. As we look forward to the semifinals next week, and it is Ole Futsal Club, and they are going forward to playing Lansing City, while Detroit will make the journey to travel to play Shoreline City, and the winners will play the championship on March 28th. On behalf of the entire FCS production team, I'm Chris Fernandez. We hope you enjoyed the great quarterfinal tilts tonight. And for more FCS information, videos, stories, etc., you only have to check out the futsalchampionsseries.com and the official FCS YouTube channel. We can't wait to hear the comments in those channels. We hope you enjoyed your night watching Saturday Night Futsal here in the FCS. Good night, and see you next weekend.
We're NMDP, and we're out here saving lives, relentlessly seeking donors so patients can live their dreams. Like Mia's dream of finding a match and pressing play on life, Noah's dream of climbing the ladder, or Zoe's dream of a tiny house and a giant dog. Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people, and the donor we need could be you.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Going to the Pod Escape Room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people. And the donor we need could be you.